Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the American Investor Show. Please click subscribe if this is your first time listening. From trader and CEO interviews to breaking news about companies you won't hear anywhere else, nobody does a better job at keeping you in the know when it comes to penny stocks. The term penny stock generally refers to a security issued by a very small company that trades at less than $5 per share. Penny stocks are extremely risky, yet they offer rates of return on investment not seen anywhere else. The host, guest, and callers are not registered financial advisors licensed by any government entity, and therefore, the following should be considered entertainment. The host, guest, and callers disclaim all liability in the event any information, commentary, analysis, opinions, advice, and/or recommendations prove to be inaccurate, incomplete, or unreliable, or result in any investment losses. Before investing in penny stocks, you should consult a professional to determine what strategy may be best for your individual needs. Now, without further ado, your host, LaSalle Anungu.
Yes, what is going on, people? It's your boy Sal in the building. Shout out to everybody watching right now and coming in to the chat room and people watching in the future. I really appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the room right now. Crypto Mike, Felix Sapini, Random Stock Run, HM, Mag, ZOG, appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who was already in here. Ryan Gets It, Londale Carter, Ghetto Stock Trader. Shout out to all y'all who were already in the building. So again, ladies and gentlemen, just like our last show, just really want to get back into the motion of things and getting the show back on track here. And, we ended last week talking about what does the future look like now with a trade war on two fronts. A trade war with China and now Mexico. Of course, continuing, geopolitical risk out there with Iran. We still got a ship out there, by the way. A lot of people aren't talking about that. We still got a ship out there. The Trump administration putting those young men out there to basically be that situation. I forgot, what was that ship in Korea? I know I got some historians in here that ended up being a false flag attack and getting us into the Vietnam War, excuse me. But a lot of risk still on the table, ladies and gentlemen. But going into the end of the trading day, there were so many guys who were so excited about a possible bounce coming in to tomorrow. And so far, I don't see it developing here. In fact, on Twitter, I mentioned that it was a good idea to stay short. If you guys watch my new RSI video, you know that the highest probability, and this is really common sense, the highest probability for a bounce is below the 20 RSI. What's going on, George M? Succeeder 82, Legendary 8s, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it. No problem, bro. No problem. What's going on, SEC Trader? So, and AEHDZ, welcome. So we know that sub 20 on the RSI is where the high probability buy is. It's not here. It's not here yet. And now we've got some guys who are, in on the long side of the trade, hoping for a bounce tomorrow, and they're going to actually open up lower. All right. You still have these permabulls out here who are just convinced that we're headed back to all-time highs, irregardless of the fact that, again, we started a trade war with Mexico, who, by the way, was already headed into a recession. All right. Those of you guys who follow up on the news on Mexico, they already revised lower 2% on GDP first quarter. So Mexico was already headed towards a recession. So this is definitely not a help to that situation. Decent bounce on GM today, but boy, they definitely took a hit over the last couple trading days over there in GM, and many other stocks too had taken quite a hit over the last 2 days. But, again, if you follow the strategies that I had put out, free moving average strategies, or, nobody can charge you to do a moving average strategy. A great one I've always talked about is 25 moving averages, basically is the 50 RSI. And if you follow that, put it out maybe almost 6 months ago now, maybe 4 months ago, you're winning. You're winning. You are absolutely winning. What's really been pissing me off, though, let me put my moving averages back on here, is that the fact that we still got some of these housing stocks, interesting enough, the builders that are up right now, and they're up because the smart money is moving into bonds. And because they're moving into bonds, all that liquid capital moving into safety, the interest rate for home loans is coming down. Right? It's coming down. All right. For those of you guys who don't know how interest rates work on properties, when people are heavily invested into equities, people who sell bonds have to give a higher premium. They have to package that bond with a higher interest rate. Well, when everybody's running to bonds, running to those secure assets, I wouldn't say secure, I'll say heavily secure, because they're now 100% secure, then they don't have to pay as much interest. They don't have to pay as much interest, and therefore they get cheaper. If you have a home, this is a great time to refinance if you have the money to do it. I mean, a lot of people don't have the income to do it. A lot of homeowners are already stretched thin. The last thing they need right now is to take out a home loan against their home's value. But that's what they're pushing right now. If you didn't notice, with that information that came out on the 30th, we had a nice little bump over the last couple of days in a couple of these home building stocks. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that they're not going to tell you is that pull up the home builder stocks. This run, or this lower cost now to, invest or reinvest or take out some investment in your home, is more slated towards someone to refinance than home buyers. Home buyers are not buying. People are not buying homes right now. People are not buying homes right now. Those of you guys who live on the West Coast, you've seen it yourself. The flippers are losing money. Millionaire home are cutting prices for about 100,000, 200,000, more than a million sometimes. So I'm looking at the home builders as a possible short moving forward, but time will tell. Time will tell. Of course, you always want to short a stock on strength, because you want to test that it's going to keep going, instead of shorting on weakness, where you can end up getting caught up in a bounce. And depending on where you get in at, you could be reeling a little bit. All right. So I've got some tickers I want to look up. I'm sure you've got some tickers you want us to talk about. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about them. So let me take some of your tickers here out of the way. All right. This is a great time to be in the markets, man. If you're not in the markets right now, I mean, this is just a great time to be in the markets and short biased. Because it's not like 2-3 months ago where you couldn't sleep. And I said that in my last show. You couldn't sleep when you were long. You didn't know what the hell was going to happen. Now, sleep like a baby, because you know everything's going to hell. Everything's going to hell. Check out my RSI video for those of you guys who don't know what the hell to look for when it comes to, picking a great entry or a great stock to either short or buy puts in. or to go long in. Those inverse ETFs, I made a great video on inverse ETFs. Have you seen that SOXS? I mean, it's been a monster, man. You know, it's been an absolute monster. You know, these have been monster plays over the last couple of days. You know, you're up $2.81 a share in 3 days, man. In 3 days. And I get it. Everybody wants to, you know, I get it. The intro still says penny stocks. I've been meaning to change that for the longest. Shout out to the guy who brought up AEM, man. This is a nice one, but of course, we all traders suffer from limited capital, right? We only have enough money to put in certain places. I saw that nice move today, and it's incredible. AEM, nice move here. All right, nice move here. And these are moving up because, again, people are moving into these commodities like gold, like silver. All right, I don't even want to put up the gold chart because the gold chart just makes me, it just pisses me off. Because a lot of you guys in here who've been watching my show, you know I was in gold for the longest and it wasn't doing shit. All right, I was like, I got in here, I'm like, okay, shit, we're riding this moving average. And all of a sudden started turning against us as, you know, the China deal and that pump kind of kept alive. Things are turning around now and it's had an incredible 3 days in gold. And the poor man's way to trade commodities, as we know, is silver. Silver is a great one. I mean, silver, I think you got like $2 options right now in silver. Even less. I think they're actually even less than that. So you can always have an opportunity to get inside some of these commodities, you know, and a great way to play that right now is silver. Looking very bullish right now. I definitely, you know, watch what happens with the trading day tomorrow and hop in. Obviously, you know, a red day is always a great way to get into a stock that's turning around like this, right? Waiting for it to kind of come back. But if you understand that, you know, the sentiment has changed, the environment has changed, whether or not you go down over the next 2 days, you know, let's look at, hey, where is this going to be 30, 60, 90 days from now? That's where you want to, you know, position yourself. That is definitely where you want to position yourself. And I regret it myself because I know for the longest, you know, don't get it twisted, I love day trading, right? Loved it. But unless you're getting your signals from an algo, you're basically just guessing. When you go in and risk it all intraday. Serious Manny, I don't know what's going on here, man. 0004 stock. Nice move today. I don't know how much volume was put into that. As you can see, I don't even have volume on my chart anymore just because I know I'm playing liquid plays. All right? Wow, look at all the money that's being made right now in these more expensive stocks, bro. Why play the trips? Why? There's no reason for it. The $300, $400, $1,000, $1,500, $2,500 you put in a trip, that's going to take 60, you know, it's going to take a week and a half, or maybe even 6 months to move. You know, look at NVIDIA today, man. Like, this is real moves you can be making money in right now. You can be making money in these right now. This is going to be a nice bounce eventually, 2 or 3 days from now. I'd probably even look at that towards maybe Thursday, Friday. You know, this is actually it's a great entry there, 18 RSI here, NVIDIA. But I think you got one more day of red. But looks like after hours, guys are buying. Guys bought it up a little bit after hours. But boy, NVIDIA. Kenny, you said you're more into ETFs. Yeah, ETFs good. They give you that you know, remove that single stock risk. Remove that single stock risk. Desert Edge, you said no volume. You can't hear me? Guys, you guys can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? I don't know. I'm hoping not running my mouth and nobody can hear me. Hold on. Test, test, test. Test. Oh, you can hear you? Okay. All right. All right. Somebody was using okay. So Desert Edge, you're using an Acer computer today. Okay. He's using the Acer computer today. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I got to see some of those tickers. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. NVIDIA is definitely going to bounce. It's going to bounce. Remember, though, the sentiment, obviously people are selling. So if it does bounce in any of these stocks, it's not going to be very, it's not going to be very long. So when you get a dollar move, you get that $1.25 move, take your profit and run. And if you missed out on your short, if you missed out on your initial short, then you look for the 60 RSI rejection. For these guys who saw my RSI video. All right. You're either going to look for a 60 RSI, 60 RSI rejection, or a 10 moving average rejection. That's another way to do that. All right. And for example, you can see that in SPY. I'm going to show you how that looked. Because a lot of guys wanted to sell, and I'm like, no, if it's got to really get that second day move. Let me thicken this out a little bit so you guys can see it. So that's the 25 RSI. Let's add in one more. And I'm not going to carry both of them on there because I know it can get a little distracting for new people. All right, when you have too many indicators on here. Blue line is the 10. All right, blue line is the 10. And yeah, you never got that second day commitment. I mean, I'd say maybe, you never got that this could have fooled some people, but for the most part, the short-term moving average is the 10 moving average. All right, the 10 moving average is hey, this shit is hot right now. This shit is hot right now, and it's not hot. It's not hot. It's not hot, man. And you can, and if you want to question the 10, just pull up the chart and do your own research on it, man. Pull up your own research and do, absolutely. Desert Edge, 60, 20, 80, 40. Shout out to the people who are using that, man. It's a great way to look at it. Oh, okay. He meant stock volume. Okay, my bad. He meant stock volume. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I mean, when you're not messing with shitty tickers, you don't have to worry about volume. Don't get it wrong. We still like some of the OTCs out here, but for the most part, right now, a lot of them are shitty. What's going on, M1 Gunner? So let's take a look at some of the tickers you guys put into the chat room right now. Guy brought up TVIX. I like TVIX as an option play. TVIX is, man, it's just sensitive as fuck. I think TVIX is even more sensitive than some of these triple leveraged plays. I mean, because TVIX is it's a beast, man. I mean, if you get it wrong, it can really kick your ass. But if you get it right too, I mean, it's a monster. But TVIX is a great way to play on the options. I do know we had a guy on last episode. He talked about going in as far as August on some of those 35s and higher TVIX calls. And sure, that kind of volatility is coming. It's coming. And, I want to get really, really excited. Like, hey, this is the end. But I know it's going to develop into a situation where they're going to have us question it. That time is coming too, where they get that bounce and it's like, oh, I think we might be headed back. I think it might be headed back. Don Mario, AMPG is the real deal, bro. I still got $3,500 in AMPG. I mean, again, that's capital that I just have sitting there because I know it's the real deal. AMPG, I don't want to push this, right? Because I don't want to look like I'm promoting because they didn't really pay me to promote the thing. I like the company and what they're doing, and it's a real legit play. But more importantly, is like this is one of those companies that's like one contract away from like boom. You know what I'm saying? They're like one contract away. And basically, for those of you guys who don't know what AMPG is, they basically sell they basically sell amplifiers for digital signals, right? They sell digital signal amplifiers. So it's a 5G play. It's a small company. They got their own, intellectual property, and it's a risk. So, but it's a small risk I'm willing to take. And I think, end of the year, I'm putting a 25-cent target on it, and that's probably what I would look for and move on to something else. Yeah, it's a good stock to hold. It's a good stock to hold. Oh, don't bring up that tape reading bullshit. I made a video about that, because, that's just, gosh, man. And it's just so irritating when I see guys try to fool you into feeling like you can read tape, man. It's just so irritating because they really think you're stupid, and they understand beginners don't know a lot. So to make themselves sound smart, people try to make this game complicated. And you don't realize that until you're a few years into the game. Like, to sound intelligent, people try to make this complicated. They try to discount, the fact that a lot of times it's more a head game than it is like, oh shit, what's the code and the breakdown to, ADX? What's the formula? Those of you guys who've been watching my show, you remember those assholes who used to call up the show and ask me what the formula to some damn, it just shit like that, man. It's much easier after you lose. Trading is much easier after you lose. That's why it's so good to lose in the beginning. If you're one of those guys who were lucky and started winning at the beginning, then this shit becomes hell for you because you don't know what it means to be a loser. But when you start losing and then you gain a respect for the art, you gain a respect for basic human psychology. That's when things start to change for you. Shout out to JNug. JNug, here's another one. JNug, you guys know this is the leveraged junior gold miner. So basically these are companies involved in the mining and processing of the commodity we know as gold. And many of them do have exposure to silver and copper with a market cap typically under 500 million. Under 500 million. So these are very small companies that, as the price of gold continues to rise, it really hits their bottom line like nothing before. It really hits their bottom line because it makes the difference between, a profitable business and, a miner that's got to like borrow a lot of capital and be heavily leveraged and, fight to survive. Fight to survive. What's a good put for GameStop? Go out a year. For example, if you look at my Macy's trade on my Twitter account, Got Penny Stocks, follow me on Twitter. I'm up $9,000 in that trade, and I post it at least like once every month just to show people where I'm at. And I'm not going to sell that. That's a 2020 put for $25. That's a 2020 put for $25. Macy's is bouncing now. This is actually a pretty good time to, get in on that. But go out a year. Losing companies go out a year. A lot of guys want to go short term, but if you know that the company fundamentally is broken, and GameStop fundamentally is a broken company. GameStop fundamentally is a broken company. They just got a lot of issues here. The way games are played is different now, right? Now you're going to have a lot of competition where you have Apple coming out with this like virtualization system, and GameStop in itself has a very broken model. It's a very broken model, and anybody who has worked there. There's a guy here on YouTube. He basically has a video. He has this whole channel based on all the shit that he took working at GameStop and how broken it is. And sometimes he talks about the stock. And, it just goes to show that the truth will always come out. The CEO quit. The COO quit. The chief, quote unquote, experience officer, he quit. This is all in a matter of like 2 or 3 days. So, but, look, it is what it is, man. This company's been losing for a long time. So this is not like new. This is not new. Absolutely, Cristiano. Yeah, that dude who was tripping about the quotation for RSI. Yeah, man. I mean, look, at the beginning of the show, when we first started the show, we had a lot of clowns come out because you got to understand that they were really trying to, let me check this nigga to see if he really knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? I go harder than you. Stop playing. Stop playing, man. BFCH, what's going on? Let's see what's going on with that. Bitfrontier. Shout out to the Bitcoin stocks, but Bitcoin's pulling back right now. Last I checked before I came on the show. Bitcoin is down a little bit right now. So Bitcoin's got to hold that 40 RSI, man. Bitcoin better hold that 40 RSI. This is not a Bitcoin show, but, for some advice, if you're not in it and you're interested in getting it, I don't know why you wouldn't just go on the equity side. Like what Kenny Dutton's doing here, getting on the equity, preferably. I like the equity side. But it's cheaper, it's faster, it's more convenient. But look for that to hold the 40 RSI on the daily. Yeah, man. Oh, man, that's the good old days for sure. Let's take a look at some of the other tickers you guys are bringing up. Because trust me, we're going to get into the Visas and the MasterCards of the world in just a moment. I just want to see what you guys are trading. Verit, I don't know anything about this. Financials, commercial real estate investment trust. 13, goddamn, this is liquid as shit. 13 million shares of $8 stock. I don't even know what this company is. It's got a lot of money coming in every day. Average volume 10 million, almost 80, $90 million coming into this company. With barely a $10 billion valuation. Okay. Amazon. It's so funny on my Instagram, Got Penny Stocks on IGTV. I put up this clip. This time last year, we did a show and we talked about Amazon at damn near practically the same price. I think it was like June 30th or something like that. That's when the clip is from. We haven't gone anywhere in a year. The stock, for the most part, hasn't gone anywhere in a year. Some people want to call it a double top. I just call it a stock that's just, has to finally pay its dues after running up. It's still the greatest company in America right now. But at the end of the day, Amazon's expensive as fuck, man. You guys remember this was a $2,000 stock. Like, goddamn. And they weren't talking about forward splitting or nothing. Go back and look at the news. You had guys putting up $3,500 price targets and shit. All the upside is to the downside, man. All the upside is to the downside. If you're under the age of 50 right now, all the upside is to the downside for you. Way more money to be made going down than it is to going up from here. When we look at Amazon, obviously you're going to want to pick this up here pretty soon. Guys were doing it today. I don't think today is the day to do that. As we can see here, it's actually lower after hours. Again, sub 20 RSI. We want to get sub 20. You want to get that high probability bounce. The mathematical, gosh, what's the word for it? Mathematical, I forgot what the word. Basically, what I want to say is that below 20 RSI, it's hard for the stock to continue to go down without coming back up first. It's really hard for the stock to continue to go down without coming up first. And the bounce typically is short-lived, but it does bounce. You know, you can see it, you know, in the charts at low RSI levels. You know, you can see them. You know, so you do get the bounce. Again, they're short-lived, but they come. You know, they do come. Obviously, you want to get some lower here. You know, they do come. But Amazon is one you're going to pick that up, but it's expensive as fuck, though, man. Amazon is expensive as fuck. Yeah, the FBI probe on Amazon, but here's the thing. You know, Amazon is a stock that's so overseen by guys on the street. I don't think that FBI probe is like that deep, man. I don't know if it's that deep. You got to understand, man, every investment bank on the street, every wannabe third-class investment bank has eyes on Amazon, is watching the books, every damn piece of paper they put out. So with that FBI situation, I you know, sometimes people just be hella sensitive, man. Yeah, Amazon is a play for the rich, bro. It's an institutional play. Retail guys who play it typically don't do very well because it's so expensive, and they get emotionally, invested about it because they've got so much capital at risk. There are a lot of great companies you're going to play the bounce on, and Nvidia is another one of those. I've mentioned that. You know, there are quite a few companies out there that you can play the bounce on that a quarter of the cost. A quarter of the cost. Oh yeah, Pro Style. Go look up some of those old videos. Go to like marketbeat.com. And you can go to marketbeat.com, and they have a section where you can see what analyst ratings, and some of these price targets are ridiculous. Some of these price targets are ridiculous. And before I forget, guys was talking about GameStop. You also want to look at EA Sports or Electronic Arts. EA Sports is a part of that company, but EA Sports is another company that's really structured for a legacy gaming environment. Like, let's be honest, EA Sports is like a legacy gaming company. You got the PlayStation, you got the Xbox, and that's just basically where they like fit in, right? But does the future look that structured? Does a company like EA survive being that big in an environment where, again, it's so easy to game at your home when you don't need to buy a system, where there's virtualization options that are coming to the market? You've got games out there that you're putting out that aren't doing very well. They had a game they just put out recently that drove the stock up to 100 and, just ridiculous amount of things, 100, 109, 108. It popped for like 2 weeks, and, now it's basically fighting for its life. It's basically fighting for its life. And you don't have to just look at the charts. You can look at their books. You can look at their books and see the year-over-year revenue drops. Somebody had brought up Payless. No, not Payless, excuse me, Foot Locker. It was FL, Foot Locker. I saw that ticker on Foot Locker. Been talking shit about Foot Locker for years, at least 2 years. But I moved my Foot Locker money to Macy's. Here's that bounce. I just got done talking about that. Here's that sub 20 bounce right here. All right, here's that sub 20 bounce. That's why it's so important for you to decide where to get in here. We'll see if you get another day tomorrow on Foot Locker. But again, here's another company that's it's poorly structured for the future. Foot Locker is poorly structured for the future. Most of Foot Locker locations are in dying malls or in predominantly working class communities where people like, you know, where people are like, well, hey, my clothes are nice, so like I'm better than you. Those kind of communities where people like live in those kind of neighborhoods. All right. That's where you see a lot of Foot Lockers. That's where you see a lot of Foot Lockers. You know, obviously they got China exposure as well. All right. Nike's going to have to pass over the cost to somebody. And that means lower margins for Foot Locker. Yes, Cristiano. Yeah. Almost 4 months ago, man. Almost 4 months ago now. Almost 4 months ago on Macy's. Check out the 2020 Leaps. Yeah, let's take a look at what else you guys are looking at. AMD ATVI. And check out my Twitter for the exact put. I want to say it is 25, but check out my Twitter because I posted it from my account straight on there. It should be in the most recent pictures. ATVI Activision, yeah, here's another one. You know, struggling. And again, you know, you can look at these long-term charts. Look at these long-term charts. I mean, they tell you that they're not structured for the future, man. The future gaming company is lean. It's agile. It doesn't have like 50 million titles. It has maybe like 3 or 4 titles they do very well. They're able to push it out through these virtualization platforms. Customers make money using the game to buy, you know, in-app purchases and stuff like that. These are small things. These companies like Activision that have been around 20, 30 years, that have these huge portfolios that they got to manage, and, you know, huge organizations, you know, it's hurting. It's hurting. It's really hurting them. Take a look at some other tickers. Tesla, man, Tesla is just one of those stocks where, you know, you know it was going down, but at the same time, it's like there's just so much meat out there, man. There's so much meat out there. And these guys, Tesla Q, I got to give it to the Tesla Q guys, man. Shout out to the Tesla Q guys. Where's my shout out to the Tesla Q guys, man, because they've been honking Tesla Q for maybe 2-3 years now. So I gotta give it to them. You know, I gotta give it to them. A lot of respect for those guys, man. You know, gosh, that's a horrible one. Let me see if I got a better one in there. Yeah, round of applause, man. Round of applause. Respectable round of applause. I give them that. You know, Tesla Q. Well, stocks that go bankrupt get the ticker or last letter of Q behind the ticker or at the end of the ticker. So when Tesla goes bankrupt, which they very well could happen, they will become Tesla Q. And guys who have been short the whole time will make a boatload of money and, you know, will look like geniuses for it. They already look like geniuses for it. You know, Tesla is a big-time fanboy stock. But the new fanboy stock is Beyond Meat. The new fanboy stock is Beyond Meat. But, you know, Tesla's going to become a bounce here, too, in a minute. You know, Tesla's going to be that bounce here, too, in a minute. You know. Yeah, BYND. This is a real big-time fanboy stock right now. This is, I want to say this is the number one ticker on Robinhood right now. Those of you guys who have it, you can check the app. I heard that on CNBC. But this is a big-time fanboy stock, man. This stock is really just like, oh my God, I love the idea of, not killing animals and, eating sustainably healthy foods. Like, because there are millions and billions of people in the world and we really need like sustainable environmental solutions. And Beyond Meat is like fits really into that right now. That's the kind of people who invest in BYND. That's like their mentality, bro. So they're not thinking about the fact that the company doesn't make any money. They're not thinking about the fact that, I don't want to say it doesn't make money. They generate revenue, but they're not profitable. Is there a path to profitability, quote unquote? I hate when people use that path to profitability shit. Maybe. But at the end of the day, they're so small in terms of where they are in the marketplace right now that, again, a competitor like a Kraft Food or anybody else that's just 10 times, 20 times larger than them can come in there and crush them. Crush them like tomorrow. I wish I was back live earlier when Uber and Lyft was coming out, because I think I could have made you guys a lot of money on Uber and Lyft, particularly Lyft, because that one was just, that opened up way too high. I mean, 87.50 valuation was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. And it's still honestly too high. For those of you guys who use Uber and Lyft or who drive, and I mentioned it a little bit on the last show, and I'm not going to beat up on a dead horse, but they still give way too many incentives for people to use their service. So that eats into the profitability. $900 million spent just this past quarter, right? So you got to provide for the drivers, of course, take care of incidentals, and then, you giving people these incentives, free rides, and use my promo code, get, this 22 free rides and all that type of shit. That's lost potential revenue. And they've just put out a book. Uber just put out a recent ER, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. But again, you got a lot of mom and pops out there who, oh shit, I use Uber, I'm going to buy Uber stock. That's how a lot of people invest, man. That's how a lot of people invest. And most of us did that at the beginning. You know how in high school, when they had like a little stock investment club game and shit like that, it used to be called the stock game or some shit. And you think you're a brainiac, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy Verizon, Walmart. Oh yeah, I do play video games. Oh, I'm going to buy some GameStop. Absolutely. Somebody said they love Beyond Meat. Who was that? Who said they love Beyond Meat? I don't know what somebody said. Oh, you eat Beyond Meat. John Hill, you like Beyond Meat? I've never tried the product. Apple. Oh, AAPL. What am I doing? AAPL. Apple, man. Here's another beautiful short-term, ticker that I jumped into. This was just a beautiful, beautiful short for me. I'm out of it now, but it just, man, when it works, it works. 25, 25, 25, man. When it works, it works. This was just, again, the stock was just in a beautiful trend, kind of holding these lows, and then when it gave out, people really started selling. And then, of course, it didn't help that earnings weren't the greatest, but that was even after earnings. So the trend just broke. The trend from December 24th, which was the bounce everybody benefited from, just broke apart. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. I wish he can come back, man. That guy had so much more to offer us. It's just sad that, his life got taken away like that. But, that's why they say health over wealth, man. Guy was one of the richest men in the world and couldn't even save his own life. Crazy, man. $30 billion and you can't buy a cure. Crazy. Uber 20, possibly. Eats vegetarian meat. Chinese tariffs might screw Apple. Well, the Chinese tariffs are, these people are not going to play games, man. And a lot of people don't really understand what's going on with these tariffs. The Chinese basically don't want Americans to be able to own businesses in their country outright. That's basically what this is about. And Americans in the White House are basically backing people like the American Enterprise Institute, fuck them, who basically create policy to push Trump into doing kind of, really fucked up things like this. And I understand what the Chinese, are thinking, because they're like, fuck that. I don't want any American to come into my country and poison my people, or, show porn, or, poison our kids with all kind of just sick ideology. I completely get it, man. I completely get what the Chinese people are doing and what they're thinking, because to them it's like, for them it's about pride, and it's also about like, okay, we want to save our people's minds, and we have a White House who's trying to sell the idea of like, oh, well, they're going to steal our technology, and we steal technology. Shit. America loves stealing technology from other countries. But that's how they're selling it to the American people is, oh, the Chinese are, stealing our intellectual property, forcing us to take on Chinese business partners, right? Because in China, if you're going to start a business in China, a minimum amount, depending on what sector you're in, a minimum amount of your board members have to be Chinese. And those board members must be able to get whatever company documents they request. And I don't know, maybe I'm different, but I just feel like that's fair. That's their country. They're a communist country. If the people got a problem with it, they're going to, they can fight back against the government. That's not happening. So that means they must like it. So fuck it. They're going to fight for, their rights. Let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. Dutton was talking about ETFs. Kenny Dutton was talking about ETFs, XLF. Interesting one here too. XLF, by the way, exposure to Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan, all that in one ticker, XLF. Very, very cheap, very, very liquid. What's going on, Bats? Very, very cheap, very, very liquid. A really great ticker to play if you don't have a lot of money, XLF. If you don't have a lot of money, you're playing options, very inexpensive, and offers you, no single stock risk like you would get maybe playing a Bank of America or a JP Morgan or a Citigroup outright. Yes, indeed. What's going on, Bats? Yeah, been a minute, bro. EEM. Yeah, EEM is interesting. It was weird seeing that pop today because I think the dollar took a break today. But, as the dollar increases in value, you got to understand that a lot of companies or a lot of countries, they have their debt in dollars. So a country with its debt in dollars has to pay more in order to service that debt. So that hurts them from being able to take care of other needs in their country, right? And then you've got the crude situation. And by the way, crude is going to hell right now. We'll take a look at crude in a bit. But crude, 8 weeks, by the way, 8 weeks now, 8 weeks straight of losses in crude. And 80% of crude stocks or companies involved in that industry are down and below the 50 moving average. All right. Here's Oracle. Here's another cheap, very liquid play that you can participate in. Still got another day of red there. Again, that sub 20 is really where you want to get in on this ticker. As you can see here, it looks like it's got, really high probability of bouncing, below that 20 RSI. All right. And the bounce doesn't last forever, but it comes. The bounce doesn't last forever, but it definitely comes. And as you can see here, that's a great place to trade this. Again, bearish stocks stick between 20 and 60. This should be red. Let me change that to red because people classify red with danger. So bearish stocks stay between 20 and 60. And you can see here all the volatility really began in that area. The weekly kind of, let me see the weekly. Yeah, really inability to kind of stay low here. But it's been fighting because between 40 and 80 is bullishness. So it's holding and using that 40 as support. All right, I'm going to get some people confused here for a second. If you haven't seen my RSI video, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about right now. So definitely take a look at that. All right, but bullish momentum is between 40 and 80. So using that 40 as support, as you can see here, every time slapping that 40, not spending a lot of time underneath that, the stock really was able to pick itself up off the floor. All right, and when you look at where, volatility really begins is when you see the rejections at the 60 RSI, because during bearish momentum, 60 RSI becomes the new resistance. All right, so the inability to really stay above 60, and that tends to be a really great area for you to come in on the short side of the trade. Yes, indeed. Shout out to all the old people in the chat room right now, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. SMH. Yeah, SMH is an interesting one. This is the semiconductor stock. All right, here's the semiconductor stock. And obviously, yeah, we got a lot of big exposure to Asia for that. But, did a little research on that. America's got a pretty decent, sizable semiconductor industry. For example, when it comes to the science and technology behind semiconductors is done here in the United States, predominantly on the West Coast. Now, the actual creation and manufacturing of these conductors is done in Asia. All right, it's done in Asia. So that's probably why we haven't seen this, fall as much as probably it should be. It should be maybe a lot lower. But again, this is an ETF, so we don't have that single stock risk in here, right? So we might have a couple of them in there that are doing better than others and evening things out here. But still, obviously, way off its high, from 120. All right, down over 125. Down $25. Actually, no, almost $25 a share, right, from the highs. Crazy. HM, if I have $5,000 to buy one stock or ticker, what would it be? Probably QID. If I remember, this is not leveraged. If it is leveraged, look for the unleveraged one. I think look for the one that's not leveraged. But it would be QID. It'd be QID. If I had $5,000 and I suck at stocks and I don't have any hope for doing it right by myself, it'd probably be QID. Just because this gives me the bear inverse to what was basically the group that led us over the last 6.5 years, 7 years, right? That gave us the bull run that we had. And that tells me that tells me basically getting in here would be the highest probability, or the ticker that gives me the highest probability to benefit if this move is really going to continue to go lower. That's a great place to want to be. I mean, you're already up $8 a share. you can pull it up. You're already up $8 a share from the low. And as you can see here, as the China deal came in, and it started kind of, and this is just a weekly. I got it zoomed up here. Obviously, things are a lot better when I pull up the daily chart. It's a little overextended here a little bit, but again, 70 RSI is just it's not the hey, I gotta wait till it comes all the way down. If you've got a long-term focus, jump in. Yeah, weed stocks all got hammered today, man. Weed stocks got hammered. All the weed players that went up to Washington, D.C., because Congress basically wanted to find out more information if this CBD thing is the real deal. And 120 people presented today. That's a long time, a lot of speaking. And those senators and congressmen, I think they're congressmen rather, they chewed their ass, bro. They chewed their ass. Shirley Lewis, QID entry at 38.76 with a stop loss of 94 cents. Yeah, QID looks good, man. Again, if you just don't know what you're doing, it's a great way to be. Look at the monthly. We're seeing guys coming in. We're seeing the capital looks good, looks healthy. This is kind of when you want to see these higher lows. Money slowly coming into the play. I know if I would have put volume in there, I'm sure you'd see, people coming into the plays. See the huge amount of volume coming in slowly as guys start to take the other side of the shade in a safe way. Yeah. Today wasn't a good day for CBD. Well, people just want to see more quantifiable data. I'm not a scientist, but the information that's coming out on CBD, what you see is a lack of peer-reviewed research, right? And in the medical field, peer-reviewed, research is like the gold standard. The fact that, a company hired you to do some research and then you presented it to others of like-minded and solid reputation, and they're willing to back your data, that is information you can then take to the public and say, yes, these are peer-reviewed research that CBD is quote unquote this, and it delivers X amount of this. It helps solve this and this and this, right? That data is then also taken in by universities and other people who, write their data against your peer-reviewed research, and it helps you build that legitimacy. And you just don't see that when it comes to a lot of, CBD products. It's not verified information. Yeah, SQQ is the one, but SQQ, remember, it's leverage, so it's a short term. You can't play it long term. These 2x, 3x stocks, these are really kind of good for, maybe give or take a week and a half. You're not going to want to be in these long term because, 2 or 3 days of green on the bull side can really eat up your profit if you don't know what you're doing. So there are a ton of inverse plays out there that aren't leveraged, that trade just like stocks and offer you the same amount of, potential. Well, not the same amount of potential because leverage offers you more, but the same high probability for an upside swing. Yeah. We talked about Nugget. We talked about the gold players. Gold has just been on fire right now, man. And again, my show, we stay on top of it here because I got a gold video out there. A couple of them. And again, if you can't afford, gold outright, there's GDX. GDX is another pretty good ticker as well. It's a kind of a poor man way to play it, but hey, offers you insane moves as well. GDX. Bats brought up NUGT. That's a great way to play it as well. And his other tickers he brought up. GFI, HMLY, AU. AU is another one. AU's a solid play. That's a penny stock, or was a penny stock for a while. I remember when we used to talk about AU a lot. It was a penny stock for a while, not so much anymore. You know, AUY, all his tickers. Bob Marley said it's good for you. Hilarious. And Bev is dropping like a brook. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's scary because a lot of investors think, well, if they're not able to prove themselves in front of Congress, that means you're not going to see a relief on any kind of regulation on, you know, CBD products. You know, a lot of products, when in terms of CBD, they're not able to be sold the way they want to be sold. You know, a lot of these companies can't go out and get the capital they need to really grow because they're in that gray area. So if I'm an investor, I'm in early, right? You're going to Washington and, you know, it's a train wreck. You know, what does it say to me about, you know, what kind of potential there's left here, right? That potential 10x, you know, return that I could get if marijuana gets legalized, or if CBD becomes legalized, and these companies are able to go to a Bank of America or a JP Morgan Chase to get the kind of capital to really be competitive. If that's off the table, you got to sell. You got to sell. All right. So, and at the end of the day, one day doesn't determine that. But you got to understand that, you know, this game is also an emotional one. It's an emotional one, and you have guys who are being emotional about CBD right now. Warehouse storage stocks. No, I'm not sure. But Bats, what's your thesis behind looking into warehouse and storage stocks? Yeah, there are definitely some public storage facilities. I wonder if that's what he means. I do know that there are some publicly traded public storage facilities, companies. Dollar General. Shout out to Dollar General. Dollar General too is one of those companies that many people believe to be recession-proof kind of business because, hey, everything's a dollar. Well, no, not it's Dollar Tree. Excuse me. Dollar General is just dirt cheap and sells, you know, inferior and nearly expired food. Yeah, because if you ever go to Dollar General, you notice a lot of the name brand products. If it's food, you know, they're damn near like, you know, 30 to like 90 days to expiration. A lot of people don't peep that when they go there. If you see a name brand food product, many times it was a closeout item, and they get it for dirt cheap, and it tends to be near expiration. Amazon, Walmart promising same or next day delivery. They need the space locally, the storage of stuff. Okay, makes sense. Yes, indeed. SQ, well, SQ, shout out to SQ. SQ is just again, SQ. I've been bitching about SQ for a long time. If you remember, this is a stock that went from, you know, $3 billion valuation to $15 billion in 9.5 months. You know, and not generating more revenue, right? Not generating any more revenue. Yeah, solid put here. Yeah, this and when it comes to SQ, it's just a valuation issue here. This is just a pure valuation issue, and even still now, at 26 billion, I think it's too expensive. Look at, and I'm not going to pull up the chart now, but the financials now. But look what revenue they're generating. I think like they just passed $1 billion this year. You know, and this is a company that again had a 45 plus billion dollar valuation and hadn't generated $1 billion in revenue. So it was just insane what was happening there. Yeah. Walmart. Yeah, Walmart is really interesting, man, because it's not being affected. Walmart's got that McDonald's juice right now. I don't know what traders in both Walmart and McDonald's are thinking. Obviously, these are companies that generate a lot of revenue, right? I mean, they're very successful companies, thorough in their ability to make sure that they treat their employees like shit and pay them as little as possible. So, they're being rewarded by the street. And, it is what it is. They know that Walmart and McDonald's are going to do their best to, make sure that they, stay fat. Here's Walmart, McDonald's. But here at McDonald's, I started talking a little bit of shit about them on Twitter, because this is one you're going to be watching here. I'm going to be really curious for this next ER here in July. Because Walmart year-over-year revenue losses. McDonald's year-over-year revenue losses. Also, the predominant, growth factor for them is international sales. They're not, same store sales in America isn't doing that great. Now, obviously, they're very mature on the U.S. side, and the growth is in these countries where it's like, hey, we only have like 7 restaurants or some shit like that. Same store gains, I think it's single digits, 3.5, 4. And the street is happy with that. But it's going to be interesting to see in July when they report whether or not things have slowed down for them internationally. And if we come to realize that, if that's the type of paperwork that comes through, yeah, man, this is going to be a really good short. It's going to be a really good short. Oh, look, I don't deny that McDonald's sells food that people unfortunately want to eat. I don't deny that. I just believe that McDonald's is not a technology company and shouldn't be trading at 25 times earnings. At the end of the day, they fucking sell hamburgers. They sell hamburgers. Right? They sell hamburgers. And they shouldn't be trading at 25 times earnings. Where's Wendy's at? I've been a minute since I looked at Wendy's too. Yeah, look at Wendy's. Wendy's obviously not as big as McDonald's, right? Not as much, not the same in terms of global reach either. But I like that's a burger company. They're trading at 9 times earnings. It's had a fantastic run over the last couple of years. That's a burger company. They fucking sell hamburgers. 9 times earnings. That's respectable. 25. Now you're look, are they going to develop a cure for cancer? Because that's where it's kind of, obviously it's not biotech ridiculous, but it's equivalent. That's a lot of money to be a part of McDonald's, to pay $25 for every dollar of earnings. That's a lot of money for a hamburger company. That's a lot of money for a hamburger company. He said crack burgers. Yeah, I haven't eaten a McDonald's hamburger in God knows how long. Yum Brands. Yeah, Yum Brands is really interesting because I didn't realize how diversified they really are. They got some restaurant brands. They got, of course, the candies and stuff, but they're a very, very diversified group of businesses. Yeah, I got to do a little bit more research on Yum. I don't know too much about them, but yeah, it's a very successful business. Said no, the burgers give you cancer. Look, I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get Oprah'd. You know what I mean? You know how the cattle industry came after Oprah, almost took her for everything she owned, man. You work for a company, we would change the date of expiration on products here in San Antonio. Fuck. That's horrible, Gerardo. UAHL. Is that U-Haul? Cargo Freight Logistics. Yeah, U-Haul has been a monster, man, but, it's pretty slow. Is this the U-Haul I'm thinking about? There's very little volume. Very little volume. Look, if you're going to play that, god damn. I was going to say, if you're going to play that, look at FedEx, but don't look at FedEx. There's another stock, too. Haven't paid attention, but obviously global trade concerns playing into that. FedEx is another interesting one that last time I read their earnings report, overwhelming amount of growth coming from Asia. Developing nations like Singapore, Vietnam, Laos, these countries that are finally, trotting into the middle class, generating a lot of shipping and logistic business because they're hungry for American products. These people in Asia are so hungry for American products. In Asia and in a lot of countries around the world, to have something made in America is considered a high quality, it's not only high status, people believe it to be high quality. So in places like China and Southeast Asia, when a couple gets married, a lot of people like to buy the refrigerator from the United States. That's like a big gift for those people. Refrigerators, things for the home that the wife will use. They prefer them to be American-made products. Real shit. Under Armour. But yeah, FedEx is another one, man. Come on, it's not going to stay there too long. Here's the daily chart here. Let's look at, real quick, zoom in a little bit and get on the hourly. Oh, boy. Yeah, this has been just a straight down. I mean, you can't get any more ugly than this. I mean, just straight down. Straight down. Again, what did I just tell you guys about that rejection? 60 RSI rejection, always, man. Well, not always. Let me see, because somebody's going to say, "Oh, you said it was always." Here's. I mean, you can basically look at. Here's the hourly, so it's a little tighter time frame, but as you can see here, getting below the 60, and the rejection of that 60 RSI shows you, these are great entries for shorts. Obviously, the higher the time frame, the more accurate the signal because it's more information in that bar. But even on these lower time frames, you're still going to see quite a bit of opportunity for you to profit here. All right, and here's the 60 being used as support. 60 being used as support. 40 is really where bulls. Great stuff, though. Great stuff. Charter Spectrum, a bunch of locations in San Antonio. Charter Spectrum closed a bunch of. I don't know. Charter, Charter. Shout out to Charter mixing some things up. I think they went mobile as well. But they're in a deal with Verizon, where they've started their own mobile phone company, but basically renting bandwidth from Verizon. So Verizon is the big winner there. And Verizon is, I think, a really good 5G play, and interesting enough, it's just one of those companies that I don't know what happened. I feel like the hype just missed them or what, but the last 10 years or 5 years, let's just say 5 years, haven't been so great for Verizon, and I can't really put my finger on why. 177 million customers, year-on-year revenue growth, awesome dividend. I don't know why this. I can't really, trading at 14 times earnings, Yeah, 14 times earnings, which is very cheap for a company that is far and away the leader in 5G implementation in the United States of America. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't understand that. There's just some more research that I have to do there. But the last earnings report, was all right. It was a beat. It was a clear beat. Curon Network, you said you're so mad at gold. Why are you mad at gold for? Good night, Juan Diaz. Appreciate you, bro. 5G scares you. Well, guys, 5G is supposedly going to microwave people's insides. And, it does scare me a little bit about the fact that a lot of these companies are being very hush-hush about, what 5G can do in terms of harming your body. You know what I mean? They're being really hum about it. Being real hum about it. They're not even addressing it for the most part. They're not even addressing it. Thanites, you had said, what's made in the USA 100%? We still got some things that are made in the United States. We still got some things that are made in the United States 100%. I'm sure you can do your research on it. Yeah, America still has an industry in some things. But at the end of the day, the American worker is expensive as fuck. So when you do see that, that product tends to be very expensive in comparison to its foreign competitors. American workers are expensive, man. Very, very, very expensive. Because American workers demand more from their employers. Insurance is expensive in terms of health care for your employees, or is it very expensive in America? And you got to pay people a fair wage unless you want people in and out the door every day. So that hurts as well. Copper ticker FCX. FCX. There's another way to play copper. I think there's a smaller Freeport-McMoRan, obviously a mining company, but there's some other things going on here. It's not as pure as some of these smaller cap mining plays that you can get into. For example, Bats had put up AUI and AU and some of these other smaller mining companies that give you exposure, although more slated to gold, but they have fields. What you'll notice that a lot of gold companies, they will have fields where it's like, yeah, we got some exposure to copper here and there. We got some silver here and there. So that might be a better way to go, because I feel like this has pretty much missed the boat in terms. And obviously it's a more established company. It's not going to move like an AUI, right? It's not going to move the same way. Much more established company coming out of the lows there. Here's AUI. This is a $2 stock. It's got a quarter of the market cap, 1.8 billion. Actually, a tenth of the market cap of Freeport FCX. So it's not going to move the same way, and it's not going to be affected by the same way of gold prices. So if you're someone who's looking for a better return, yeah, you're going to focus on AUI to enjoy the move in the commodity. Southern Copper, yeah, there we go. That's a better one. But the thing about Southern Copper, you got to be careful with this, because this is a Mexican company. If I'm, someone correct me on that, but this is a Mexican company. I believe this is a Mexican company. You might want to do your research on that, but I believe it's a Mexican company. I think the dangers are still coming from cell towers emitting signals like spray cans. Yeah. Ricardo Joseph, you don't own a cell phone? Are you serious? Or you don't own a smartphone? I know a lot of guys who don't own a smartphone. They honestly believe flip phones make them more productive, which, I could see the reasoning behind that. But, man, it's just, there's nothing cool about opening up your flip phone, man. There's no way to look cool opening up your flip phone. Like, no matter how you're dressed, flipping over your flip phone and flipping it open just makes you look like a fucking dweeb. It makes you look like a beta male. You're somebody who a guy can maybe pull his pants off and insert himself inside you because you use a flip phone. It just makes you look like a beta male. Let's keep it going. BWVI is a great rockin' OTC. BWVI. Oh, shit. Okay. A nice move today. Chart's not pretty. Let's get some more volume in here. SPGL. Is that what you typed in? Sibani Stillwater Limited. Yeah, don't know anything about this one. Basic materials. Okay, gold play. Okay. SPGL. I may have pulled it up in the past. I've probably forgot about it right now. You said those were popular for a year? That's hilarious. You said you remember when flip phones were the shit? Bring beepers back. There's still beeper services, though. You know that, right? There's still these beeper services. They're high as fuck, but for guys who want a beeper service, they're still around. They're still around. Said you had a Razor. Yeah, that was a little different with the Razor, though. I'm talking about, you walking around with this, a gray phone, a phone that's like gray and plastic. And it flips open. It's got the hearing thing, you know what I mean? And you got to pull out the antenna and shit. Yeah, I missed out. I missed the beeper. I was a little too young for that. RHT. Here's Red Hat. Red Hat. This is really interesting because quite a bit of divergence going on here. I wanted to bring this. I got this in my list of stocks to bring up today. Just this one that's going to be interesting. Again, I don't know what the volume looks like on Red Hat, but Red Hat, very much a virtualization company. Again, hot stock, right? Hot stock over the last couple of years. It's moved up quite aggressively from some lows recently, and has continued to move up. But it appears we've topped out a little bit. That's the weekly. But if we zoom in a little bit on the daily, we're going to start seeing some breakdown here if RSI continues to go lower here. So it's got to bounce off that 40 if we want to believe it. As we can see here, it's been able to do so, since November, right? So it's November. So we're already at an RSI low for the stock, and this would be one that would look like a high probability short if things continue to not look so good. In fact, I would probably, put a short here in Red Hat now and see what happens over the course of 7 to 14 days. Miami style was that first green beeper. Yeah, I remember when people were doing the colored beepers. Remember the colored beepers where they were see-through? I remember those. And then you had some that were like all white, and then you had some that were black. Everyone had the black ones, but yeah. But I remember the colored one that was clear. CPRT. Copart. Okay. There's Copart. It's interesting that Copart's not having any issue when Copart sells a lot of car parts are made in China, man. A lot of car parts are made in China. I'm surprised it's not having an issue. A lot of car parts are made in China. I'm sure. I have no doubt they have exposure to that situation. Page Me Trick. Dre and Rick Ross was WM. Let's take a look at WM. Oh yeah, I did hear about Jay-Z becoming a billionaire. I need more paperwork on that, but I don't know, man. I'm really hesitant when I see people who aren't in finance that are in technology, in meaning in a major way being like a majority shareholder, and I don't even think he's a majority shareholder. I might be wrong. He could be a majority shareholder in his streaming platform. I don't know, man. Jay-Z really left a bad taste in my mouth of what he did, faking like he owned the Jets, because I was really thinking this man owned that shit. And it come to find out he owned 0.5% of the company, of the Jet. Well, not the Jets. What was it? The New Jersey Nets. Excuse me, Nets. Of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, excuse me, I'm calling them New Jersey Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. And because people believed he owned it, he went around. This is 2012 when I was in New York. Or it might be a little earlier than that, but he went around New York basically telling these neighborhood associations that were fighting to prevent the stadium from coming into their town and pricing them out of their community that, nah, man, you're going to have all these jobs that are going to come out of that. There's going to be so much community development. The crime, blah, 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 is going to stop and all that. And they used him and his name to get the stadium approved. Come to find out, the stadium has generated not even 1/10 of the jobs, excuse me, that were promised. Most of the people have been pretty much priced out of their community. So, Jigga, or bitch nigga, whichever you want to use, I don't know. It's not a good look. I don't respect that, man. I don't respect that at all. I don't respect that at all. Damn, I dried my throat out. Usually got my bottle of water. Yeah, man, he's done a lot of real shady ass shit, man, and I don't really fuck with that. So, when I look at Jay-Z, you got to ask yourself, what has he really done? But to really, say we should clap for him. He's a billionaire. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you why he's not going to move like a billionaire moves. Because look at Oprah. Look at all the clowning around that she's got to do. I mean, she's 1 minute she's selling, pushing Weight Watchers, and the next minute she's pushing some kind of false prophet, and the next thing you know, she's pushing this, and then she just lost her channel, and you're not a billionaire, man. That's not how billionaires move. A lot of these people are propped up to sell an idea. You know what I mean? And Oprah is one of those people, and I'm not going to get into that now, but understand that she doesn't move like a billionaire. We're going to notice that Jay-Z won't move like a billionaire. You'll see some of the ridiculous things they'll have him out here doing sooner or later. Yeah. Yeah, Oprah doesn't move like billionaires move, man. You don't have billionaires doing the type of shit that Oprah's out here doing. Are you ready for the second coming of Jesus Christ? Accept Jesus Christ now to prevent the mark of the beast. Yo, man, Jesus must be black, because I've been waiting for this dude for, I know all that I've been born. I mean, shit. This guy's late than a motherfucker, man. So I already know he's black. That's why, shit. He gonna come to work when he feel like coming to work, Let's keep it going. Let me see here. What else? What else we got here? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. This dude, you already know he black. You know, typical brother, man. Hey, yeah, I'll be right there, man. Give me 5 more minutes, man. 5 more minutes. 35 minutes later, like, hey, man, are you coming or what? Dude, I'm coming, bro. I'm coming, I swear, bro. I'm on my way, bro. I'm on my way. You know. Pizza. Look, shout out to, Oprah selling pizza. Yeah, shout out, yeah, Oprah selling pizza. Come on, man. That's not a boss move. That's not what billionaires do. Out here selling pizza, man. That's the bullshit white label product. Some of you guys who know retail, you know what I'm talking about. You got these little, companies out here that will create you a white label brand. You can smack your face on it or your own brand and then sell it. Like that reeks of desperation. That's not a boss move, man. For somebody like Oprah to down be selling pizza. You're not a billionaire, fam. You know. Facebook trading on the weekly. Yeah, for all the shit that Facebook gets, man, I don't know why people not trying to act like Instagram ain't the shit, man. Like this company ain't generating stupid amount of revenue. Year over year over year growth. I just, and I understand, man, because a lot of people, and I've said this many times, it's jealousy. It's the fact that Facebook has a lot of power in the media space. A lot of media companies are very jealous of Facebook, jealous of YouTube, jealous of the fact that it's been giving regular people like me platforms, right? 20 years ago, I wouldn't have a platform like this, right? I wouldn't have a platform. I wouldn't be able to talk about stocks the way I talk about it. And people like me have harmed traditional media companies that depend on you to watch them consistently to generate revenue. You know what I mean? Now most of you guys in here don't even have cable anymore. So yeah, if I'm the Washington, or maybe not the Washington Post, but if I'm the New York Times, if I'm some local, newspaper somewhere, yeah, I'm gonna talk all kind of greasy mess about Facebook and how it's evil and how they need to be broken up and all that shit. Yeah, because you're my enemy, man. I'm losing because of you. You spread news too fast. You're making random ass motherfuckers celebrities on top of me. What are your opinions of the Democratic hopefuls for? None of them right now are good. I don't know. Not one Democrat right now is good enough to beat Trump. And they got this dude out here who, again, don't flag me. Shout out to all the LGBT. More power to you. But that guy is going to get washed. He will get washed if the Democrats even think about putting him. Because not only is he not going to get the black vote, but the Christians are going to come out so fucking hard. They're going to come out so hard. It's man. I don't even want to get into that because that gets us off the topic of stocks here. But look, you might as well just go ahead and buy that Trump 2020 shirt right now because he's gonna win. So he's gonna win. He said you like Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang. I don't know. He's his $1,000 a week thing is once you read more into it, is a little it kind of falls on its face. Yeah, Cory Booker is basically Cory Booker, shout out to Cory Booker, man. I don't know if you watch my show or not. But brother, just come out and say you like it up the booty, bro. Cory Booker, if you're watching, just say you like that stroke in your behind, man. You going out here making all kind of stories that you used to smash honeys back in the day, and the only reason you're not married now is because you just been busy, and it's all good, man. Just say, look, hey, my name's Cory Booker. I like it up the butt. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Keep it real with yourself, bro. That's all I'm saying. Just keep it real with yourself. How is he, like 45 now? How old is Cory Booker, man? Come on, man. Just keep it 100, bro. Keep it 100, man. 50. Come on, man. 50. Come on. We already know what you're about, bro. Come on. Yeah. He remember, like, this is like a month ago, he out of nowhere, his campaign team made an announcement. Yeah, Cory Booker is dating, some actress who was like on Law and Order or some shit. Yeah, man, Cory Booker he's needs to admit that he's a proud gay man. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I support LGBT. I support you, man. Fight the power. Yeah, do your thing, man. MAGA, yeah. But I mean, the MAGA, this is so funny because I remember when they created the MAGA ticker, but MAGA was an acronym for Microsoft, Apple, Google. What was the last A? What was MAGA originally for? Because these were considered the, quote, MAGA stocks. Microsoft, Apple, Google, and I forgot what the last... It was at Amazon? I think it might have been Amazon. I think it was Amazon. But that was the original acronym, and then, this ETF popped out of nowhere. He said that Rosario chick, man, come on, man. She ain't got no booty like that to be turning out nobody. I seen Rosario from the back. She's not working with nothing, sir. She's not working with nothing. She's got like she wears like an A-cup bra, I think, right? She wears like an A-cup. Let me see, Rosario Dawson. Yeah, dude, she barely has any breasts, bro. She ain't turning out nobody. She do got some soup coolers, though. She got some big old lips. So yeah, maybe that dome might be the truth. Yeah, that dome might be the truth, because usually when a girl's real skinny and she's got like no boobs, no ass, that head is fire. Whoo! Boy, it's just oh my God. Oh, I'm about to flood your mouth. Oh. Oh, man. But they got to be that way because they don't really, they got to overcompensate. They got to overcompensate with it, man. All right. So let's keep it going, man. What other tickers we got here before we wrap the show up? I don't want to keep y'all up all night. It's almost midnight. Shout out to all the people who came in the building tonight, man. Yes, indeed, man. We back on this stock shit. Back on the stock shit again. Use a moving average, man. Can make it easy for yourself. Check out my my website, man. I gotta work on it. I gotta work on the Traders Library, and I'm still working with a lot of these companies to get the rights to resell the books. So there's some books that I still have yet to reach out to some publishers to get the rights to sell them, but I'm only going after really books that are like out of print because they're cheap to buy the rights for. But so far the website is generating a little bit of traffic. It still looks like shit, but right now I'm just working on the SEO and getting a lot of these Fiverr guys to write articles and shit like that to link back some of the books. TheTradersLibrary.com. thetraderslibrary.com. I want to build it up to be the #1 bookstore for finance. So right now it's just kind of dirt cheap, but pretty good shit. Do you love and accept Jesus Christ, or are you an atheist? Oh, you're asking Bats? Okay. Tulsi Gabbard is an Assad lover. Okay. You ever bust a nut so hard the cows lock up? Shit. God damn, dude. You know, that only used to happen when I was a kid and beating my meat for 2 and 3 hours on end. And then when your knees, that's basically when I only experienced that. You know, when you're like 17, 18 and you have like these 3-hour binges of beating your meat. That was the last time I had like, my knees lock up and shit. And you're on the bed or you're on the floor or some shit like that, and then you try to get up and you're like, oh, my legs, my legs. That's the only time I experienced that. Man, y'all stop fucking lying, man. Y'all some lying ass motherfuckers, man. Y'all some lying ass. Oh, Ari? Hold on, what? ARRY? Let me see, take a look at that. ARRY. 6.5%. 6.5%. Yeah, I don't know anything. Yeah, it's a biopharma play, man. These things, the news driven, and I'm kind of tired of biotech just because it's just, it's just hard to catch, man. You got to stay on top of these things for like months and years at a time. In fact, they're message boards. I think it's like Pharma Watch or something like that, where they just basically are waiting for announcements for FDAs and all that stuff. So, hey, there's a niche for everybody, man. The second coming of Jesus is near, and the stock market will not exist in another 5 years. Come on, man. That's not true. Where are people going to raise money? Now you need an equity market because people need to raise money. And outside of financial institutions, which give you really shitty interest rates, you go to the people through a public market. Because I don't have to pay anybody anything. I can just give you ownership in my earnings. All right. Sometimes I don't give it to you, so I have no dividend to offer. Or I give you a share through, or through dividend. So come on, man. ANGI is a 50. Look, man. Oh shit. Hold on. What the hell did I do? Are you in chart replay mode? Yes, I'm going to exit that mode. Yeah, ANGI, man. I kind of forgot about Angie's list. But look, Angie, Angie wasn't going to survive. At the end of the day, the free model wasn't going to work. The paid model wasn't going to work because they can't afford. They were spending, I think it was like $12.50 for every dollar they were earning. They were spending $12.50 in marketing for every dollar that they were generating. And for doing what Google was doing for free. When you just Google the name of a business, you can read reviews, get pictures that other people of like jobs that person has done for them. So if you like what's going on in Angie, which isn't as liquid as Yelp, it's the same thing. So, Angie's still great short because I'm still thinking that Angie's List is not going to be a brand that's positioned for the future, right? I think Angie's List is very much like a early internet, like, prior to search engine kind of thing. And what's keeping them around is, again, easy access to capital, right? Easy access to capital has kept a lot of businesses that shouldn't even be publicly traded companies, and I'm not even going to go into companies like Wayfair and some of these other Grub and all that other crap. But Yelp is another one that's going to be retesting some lows here soon. I got my eye on Yelp to deliver some really bad news next time around. This previous one, the drop wasn't as significant as I thought it was going to be. But this is another one that's going to lose its ass over the long term. Yeah. So Angie's List, just short Yelp. Just short. So you can buy some puts in Yelp. And again, go out with it. Go out with it. These have been, these are going to be losers for the long term. As I said in my previous video, we're going to get those 0% interest rates because the White House knows what they're doing. But as Peter Schiff says, I think it's not going to work, and I agree with him. I think it's not going. 0% interest is just not going to work right now because we're practically already at zero. So it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh no, not at all. Cash out. My 50, my 20, my 25 MA 50 RSI still works, but remember the 25 MA strategy that I'm happy to say I created. What's wrong with it is that it makes you take every dip below it, right? And what really frustrated me coming out of 2800 and that loss there was the fact that, what could have prevented me from getting involved in that? What could have prevented me from taking the losses that I experienced, thinking that it had started, right? That the downturn had started. And the problem with a moving average strategy is that when your stock drops below the moving average, you have to take every single turn. You have to take every single drop because you don't know how far it's going to keep going. Sorry, I know I'm moving the chart a lot here, but I'm trying to look for a time frame where it makes sense here. All right. So here was the failure at 2800, right? So you got to take every single dip. And I was like, okay, what are the RSI strategies that I can find that won't put me in a position to take every single dip below that moving average? And that's where, I found Hayard's book, RSI, the guide, how to properly use RSI, to trade effectively. Not saying that a moving average doesn't work. It's just it works if once it goes below or above that moving average, it keeps going. It keeps going. Where a moving average fails is that when you have sideways action and you're in an option, then it starts to, eat your time value and really starts to fuck with you. Really, really starts to fuck with you. All right. So absolutely, moving average strategy still works. 25 MA, as you can see, it's got me in the position I'm in now. Although I'm going to have to close some positions here soon, because I'm holding on to some Julys, but yeah. So as long as it keeps going, it works out. But once you start getting some bounces, right, and you start retesting, and that's when it could get really irritating. Angie's List is dead. Do you believe in me, or are you an atheist? That's hilarious, Alex. Hey, Bats, what are you, besides gold, what else are you trading? Anything long-term right now? Bats, if you're still in the room. Yeah, Jason, yeah, he's trolling right now, but it's all good. He's trolling right now.
I believe I can
Yeah, that's for the troll. I hope I didn't scare anybody with that. I know I probably scared somebody like, oh my God, what the fuck was that? Same here. Good look at the history of the trade. Ghetto stock trader, you say you're scared of options? Just need to do more research. That's all. Just need to do more research. Yeah, cash out. It works, man. The 25-10 works. It just you gotta take every trade. But that RSI that I showed, it's a good way to see where the stock is, though. So you can use them together just to see, okay, well, shit, where is the stock at? And for example, we're looking at the SPY. As you can see here, the SPY is clearly now in a bearish trend, right? So as we can see here, so the 25 got you in, and then this 2060 strategy is the confirmation that this is indeed now broken, into an area of a lot of volatility, which is 20 RSI to 60 RSI. All right, mathematical probabilities really, get tight underneath 20, because that's the word I was looking for earlier, was probability. It's hard to go low or below 20 RSI. So that's really an opportunity for a great pickup. And again, I didn't know this strategy at the time, but here's the SPY in this time frame. But let's go back to the daily, a more popular time frame. But as you can see here, great opportunities to buy sub 20 RSI. Great opportunity. Obviously, that December was an amazing moneymaker. All right. It was an amazing moneymaker. And again, when I talk about that rejection at the 60, right, on the bounce. So here's the low, and then, of course, you get the rejection. This rejection was quite low, too. But here's a rejection of the 60. Here's another rejection of the 60. So in the bearish, again, I got to repeat myself sometimes because I want you guys to get it. But in the bearish, reject that 60. Again, I'm not not trying to come off as a professor or anything, because it's, for me, teaching helps me learn better. So I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I've got some other stuff to put out there as well, because it helps me understand it even better, teaching somebody else. The power in options is owning the stock and selling the option. It's owning the stock and selling the option. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, well, it depends, man. You can lose at that as well. And Thanites, those conservative option strategies that you just brought up, they do require you to put up quite a bit of capital. I was selling options for a long time when the market just kind of continued to go higher, right? I mean, selling puts, knowing that we're just kind of going higher and higher and higher, because that's just basically what the market was doing. But when you sell an option, man, it requires you to put up quite a bit of capital. So you lock capital up. Yeah. Well, look, I've been telling you that Bad Scientist is rich, man. Bad Scientist is rich. I've been telling you guys about that. I got a lot of rich people who watch my show, man. Bad Scientist, Mr. Lloyd, the guy James Bond, who hit me up not too long ago. Got a lot of people with a lot of money who watch my show, man. Shout out to all the people who watch my show that got bread, man. Yeah. It's the guys who have, $200, $300 that I can't get to watch me. Those guys are like, oh my God, Tim Sykes. Oh, Tim Sykes. Oh, shout out to Tim, man. Oh, I love you, Tim. Oh, yeah, I love you, Tim Sykes. I'm all over your balls. But, the guys who have, 100,000, 250,000, guys who are sitting on really great jobs that make six figures, who have good, a lot of savings, those guys watch me because they know I'm the real deal. But, the guys who just have a couple $100 is like, man, you got to gosh. When they start losing, that's when they come back, though. I mean, when they lose, that's when it's like, oh, shit, let me see what this nigga's talking about. But for the most part, they're all on Tim Sykes' nuts and a lot of these other guys who are making videos. Like that guy, Financial Education. I got a couple of Gmail accounts that I use for my marketing and stuff like that. But one of them I forgot because I got Financial Education blocked on most of them. Like, cause I can't stand like, hello, traders. He's all breathing into the goddamn microphone. AMD was up today. Oh my God. The stock was down 2%. I was panicking. Shut the fuck up, dude. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody can convince me that guy trades stocks, man. Nobody can convince me that guy actually even has like a trading account and is like actually like taking positions and shit like that. I don't care what anybody says, man. And I don't even want to hear it, man. He's like a clown to me, man. Laylaw, what's going on? Appreciate you, bro. Bats VWAP. Yeah, shout out to yes. Hey, yeah, Bats, are you still using VWAP? Well, here's the thing though, man. Trading, Bats says he's rich in knowledge only, but man, that's the great thing about this game is that it's very much a marathon. And once you kind of get out of the idea that you need it like really, really, really fast, that's when it becomes even more enjoyable. And that's when like it's like, oh, okay, I have to learn how to apply this knowledge like the right way. And you stop getting out of gimmicks and things like that. Let me see here. Let me make sure I put every ticker that I wanted to put out there. I'll be back. Today's Tuesday. God damn. It's 12:16 already? Shit. I've already done 2 hours? God damn. Every time I come on here, it's like time goes by so fast, man. I was thinking about coming back on Wednesday, but goddamn, it's tomorrow. But yeah, no, I want to come back Wednesday because I really want to see if the bounce happens. Because right now we're set to open red. Oh no, so we're green now. All right, so Asia is saving us a little bit. Looks like Asia is saving us a little bit. So yeah, let them get the bounce. And I think you get 2 days of green here. I'm looking for the rejection at the 10, or a rejection at 60 RSI, whichever they get. I'm with it, man. No matter what happens, I'm with it. Appreciate you, Legendary 8s. Shirley Lewis using point and figure charts. God damn, I got a book on my site, the Traders Library, about point and figure. I took a look in there, man. I think I scrolled like 6 pages and I was like, man, that ain't for me. Is there still a Discord? It's pretty much dead. I don't know, man. The guys, you guys know that drama, with the Discord. Black Box has a Discord, which I'm in now. So I'm kind of busy with that during the day. And shout out to Black Box Stocks. We're about to go public. Man. And, they chipped your boy off a little piece. Although I'm a little upset that I got a waiting period. It's all good though. Bring back the 4-hour show. What the fuck? Hey man, look, I did the 4-hour shows when I was broke, pushing these OTC pennies, but we don't need to work that hard no more, man. Like I said, Black Box and broke your boy off a little something, so. ADVM. And I actually know how to trade now. That helps. ADVM. Don't know anything about it. Biotech. Woo, nice run. Look at that. Nice run. ADVM. I don't know what the volume looks like. TradingView's not telling me. Yeah. Shout out to everybody who's in Black Box, man, because the price is up. So everybody who got grandfathered in really lucked out, man. Because I've been trying to tell people get into that Black Box because they're only going to get better as time goes on. So they got a lot of new features now with the search filter, the filters that they're implementing now. So if you do day trade, you need an algo. You need a black box. You need a black box. There's just no way for you to really get in front of the plays with a basic scan. Appreciate you, Three Hooks. But no, we're gonna keep doing this show, man, because I know, I just gotta keep fluid with this, man, so it can really break out, man. Because I'm in that Gary V, like, because he did that little wine show for like years and years and years, and eventually broke out. Not comparing myself to Gary V, but I'm just saying other guys who've been taking off with their shows. The problem with that is that they went like 5 years straight and like nobody was fucking watching them. They had fewer views than me, like 2025 and shit like that. And eventually it pops off for them. So, but it's never been about views, definitely never been about views. Because, y'all know yourself, nobody's going to give you any money. You really got to go out there and get it. You can find some logs, is where it's at. Let me find some other. Okay, I did Yelp, Red Hat. You guys took a look at Oracle as well, too. Oracle. This one, 24 RSI. This is going to be a nice little dip, too. Very $50 stock, very cheap options, good liquidity. All right, good liquidity. All right, so this is, looking for possible step up here. Bounce. I haven't seen anybody in the chat room talk Netflix in a while. Netflix is holding up actually pretty well. You can see here some little RSI divergence going on here in Netflix. Not the prettiest looking divergence we've ever seen, but definitely showing up here as you might get a break in support here. And it's actually already happening. But definitely nowhere near as aggressive as you would think for a company that's trading at 125 RSI and that's been basically surviving on borrowed time and borrowed money for the most part. Yeah, Netflix's balance sheet is not pretty. They bring in a lot of capital, but they spend a shitload of money. And one thing you notice about Netflix gets boring too. Like if you ask somebody who has Netflix and has had it for a while, they'll tell you Netflix gets boring too. They find themselves flipping through Netflix with nothing to watch sometimes. End up right back on YouTube, man. She got to have it on Netflix, okay. He said Disney, Disney's about to whip their ass, though. I give it to Disney. Boy, their vault is just ridiculous. Yeah, but Disney is, not only just the movie stuff, but the kid stuff when it comes to Disney. Their vault is just, how many Looney Tunes and, they're going to have it all. They're going to have it all, man. Disney's going to be the shit. If you're a parent. Fuck Netflix Kids. It's not even going to be, not even on the same level. Somebody said lots of garbage on Netflix. I've heard. Yeah. Spy gave me $1,400 a day, but you didn't take it. Why guys getting greedy, man? $1,400, take it, bro. Come on, Legendary 8s. You've been around too long to say things like I didn't take the gain. We've been around too long, especially if you're intraday trading. You've been around too long to be still saying that. Now I haven't seen that movie yet. All right. Let me see. Make sure I think I put out every ticker that I've wanted to so far. Is that Barnes and Nobles? Oh, that's Barnes Group. That's different. Visa. Visa is really interesting, man. I brought that up on the last show because I think today was probably the day Visa kind of caught up with everybody. But we got to see what happens tomorrow. But, man, this was another one that, Visa and McDonald's kind of playing like that same kind of game where they're like hanging up there where I think they'll eventually break. But now with the market going to bounce, I think they can fight. They'll survive another day. But those are companies that, again, are going to have to give some of that value back, eventually. But Visa, MasterCard, these are companies that are going to have to pay the price. And I'm hoping that this was the beginning of something real in both of these stocks, both very, very liquid, both, 3-digit stocks, but, for the most part, quite affordable. And I'm hoping that these could be the beginning of a turnaround. These stocks are up very, very aggressively. I mean, look at this, man. From $1.75 lows to, got to as high as $260. Nearly $100 a share in 5 months. Excuse me, yeah, almost 100 in 5 months, bro. That's an insane increase in market value. That's billions and billions of dollars. Billions and billions of dollars generated in pure value, right? Not necessarily in real revenue growth. All right. Not necessarily in real revenue growth. All right. RWM, inverse of IWM. You're going to see that definitely going to probably come down over the next 2 days. You're going to see a nice, possibly a bounce in IWM tomorrow. IWM, the ETF of RUT, RUT. ATXI. Warrior Trader is worse than Financial Education. Yeah, I've been saying about him for years. That hippie looking motherfucker, man, he's not legit. Well, his partner is suing him too, though. You know that, right? The Warrior Trader is being sued by his partner. He's being sued by his partner right now. And I don't know who these people are, man, who are giving these guys $140, $160, $240 a month to teach them things that you can learn for free. You can learn for free. These guys don't even have like methods for real. These guys don't have they don't really have a method. Like if you think about Tim Sykes and what you guys know, like he really doesn't have a method. A lot of guys, they don't really have a method they're teaching you. You know what I mean? And again, man, I don't want to come off as gossipy, but you just get tired. I mean, I've just been on here long enough where I'm just tired of those guys, man, because it's just like, they're not creating winners out here. They're not creating winners. They're just taking people's money. They're just taking people's money. ATXI. Somebody told me to break this down, and man, it's not a pretty looking chart at all. It's just a news pop. It had to be some kind of news pop here. Left a lot of people up there, man. Look, a lot of people get hurt when these things like this happen. A lot of people get hurt when things like that happen. That's why I don't even bother with those kind of tickers anymore. But that's definitely an intraday ticker. Here's last week's King of the Hill. Nobody even talks about that no more. If you can grab shorts, I try to find some, but basically nothing on the table anymore. You said that's the new hustle, man. That's been the hustle for the last 7 years. Teaching people how to trade. Guys who've been in the chat room, been here long enough, they know. That's been a hustle for like 7 years now. Yeah, I'll say 7 years. 2012 is when it really kind of started taking off with, hey guys, sign up to my subscription service. I brought it up earlier. You guys already know Wayfair. Wayfair is going to be a zero sum game at the end of the day, man. This thing is going to zero eventually. Look out for another earnings report, and they're really slick because they space out their earnings reports pretty well here. Unlike you'll see like a lot of more thorough publicly traded companies like GM and all that crap. But Wayfair is that's another company that's just really been profiting off the wrong things. And I think the good times are behind them as well. But they're just not as liquid at the options as you would want it to be. Yeah, a lot of guys, even in this chat room, who thought Ross was the real deal. They got burned by Ross. I'm not going to name no names, but there were some guys who went off to go see what Ross was doing and got smoked by him. Realized, man, he wasn't teaching shit. These guys are taking your money and then going and reading ebooks written by guys, who were master traders in like the 80s and 90s. That's where the knowledge is. The game doesn't change. Do I trade Forex? No, I don't have all the information to trade Forex. Forex is an information game, and I don't have all the information to trade it successfully. I cannot find, and I've tried, and I've opened the invitation to anybody who is a Forex trader with a reliably consistent strategy to trade Forex. None of those guys have it. They're guessing. It's basically, guys are guessing. Tell you how to pay taxes. Yeah, my tax pain it's been a long time since I had tax pain, man. Look, I've been trying to tell people, trade under a corporation or trade under an LLC or corporation, depending on how it works best in your state, and then get verified as a trader by the IRS. Look that up. Getting verified as a trader by the IRS. You can look that up. And accountants, believe it or not, really aren't that expensive. Accountants really aren't that expensive. Well, the more money you make, they get more expensive. But, if you're not there yet, and you saying, hey, I want to build a relationship with you, preferably maybe I don't know, depending on your age, someone who's kind of like your peer or a little bit younger, say, hey, I'm starting this company, this journey to being a professional trader. I'm looking to see if I can use your services. Come at them humbly, particularly if you're a beginner and you don't really have very much of a tax form or a 1099 to show them, Ross advertises that 3 months he went from $500 to $100K. Man, look, yeah, Ross is also the guy who got a lot of people into Sure Trader. Got a lot of people fucked up with all those fees over there, man. You had people who went and sent their money over there and couldn't get it back, and people who had ridiculous amount of fees just to trade, AMT entry. Let's take a look at AMT, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm surprised how many guys are still hanging in here. God damn. Y'all going hard. AMT, American Tower. Okay. Pretty liquid, too, at 1.7. Not bad for a $200 stock. That's a real estate investment trust. What are the dividends here, man? All these REITs play really, really good dividends. But, these are expensive stocks, man. Real estate investment trust has never been my thing, but I'm actually quite surprised at how popular dividend trading is. It must have a lot of rich people out there because I've seen a couple guys' channels that focus on dividend trading. I'm like, damn, okay, y'all get it in like that. Y'all get it in like that. Yeah, AMT, that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, hey, if they're generating, you know, revenues, increasing dividends, they deserve to go up like that. They deserve to go up like that. But I mean, you're up here now. You know what I'm saying? You're up there now. So you gotta. If I'm looking at that chart, I've been in that stock for a while. I'm looking at it. I'm like, it might be time for me to take my chips home and leave. Looking at that thing. Appreciate you, Desert Edge. He had told back to bring those 5 a.m. stocks. Hilarious. Do you think we're going to have a 2-day bounce? Yeah. D Moody, I'm thinking of a 2-day bounce. Looks kind of likely, just because of the way we closed today. I mean, that's a very interesting candlestick for today's move. So I'm going to be looking to see if tomorrow, we close above, we close above yesterday or today, yesterday's body. So looking for a close above yesterday's body. If that's a possibility, then maybe one more day. But I think some guys here just are desperate for the long side of the trade right now. And look, he had quite a few dip buyers, right? And then also I'm looking right now to the I'm looking right now at the futures market, and we're set to open up. Ross says other income streams. He loses on margin. He pays. Yeah. Well, look, you got to understand. When guys teach you how to trade, you're their income stream. You provide them the money to trade. Tim Sykes, $140 a month, 4,000 people. Do the math. 4,000 people paying $400 a month. Not including the guys who pay $5,000 for his mastermind, sessions where he calls you 10 times or something like that. Shout out to my truckers. What's going on, Patrick Lindsay? So yeah, you guys are you're giving them the money to trade. They don't even need. He's not even going hard. Yeah, his DVDs too. He's not even going that hard. I mean, if you look at his Profitly, it's been a long time since I looked at it, but he's not even going hard with the trading thing no more. Now he's he's pushing real estate now, and he's into some other things now too. All right, guys. So again, those of you guys who want to trade, this bounce, preferably. Again, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of trying to play the bounce. It's there, right? Nvidia, in my opinion, Nvidia is probably the highest probability in terms of a very high, high chances of being in profit intraday, being that it we close at 18 RSI, but you're going to open up higher, and God willing that you get the support that's going to allow you to bounce tomorrow in Nvidia. So some certain plays are higher probability than others. Obviously, the best companies at the lowest RSIs is what I would go for, just because your chances are obviously better with that. Apple, we looked at Apple. Here's another one that could be a very nice bounce. Look, great companies that people like to buy that are going to be, great opportunities for you. Google's a little expensive, but Google's pretty too expensive still. A little expensive, but even though this could very well bounce tomorrow, it's a good chance for that. Who do I recommend to avoid the PDT? Why would you want to avoid? Why would you want to get around the PDT, man? But look, if you want to really get around the PDT, I mean, yeah, your foreign brokers are really the only way you can do that and have a decent platform. Is the Sure Traders of the world, and I think there are a couple of new ones now. But yeah, I mean, what's that other one that was in like? Gosh, Stock Trade, yeah, Stock Trade. You know, but the problem with Stock Trade is you can't short, but you can buy it. You can buy all day, every day for $1 in, $1 out. So Stock Trade is good, but they're mobile, and the desktop platform is very Robin Hoodish, and that's another company which is pure email support as well. Google puts at the open for you. Yeah, shout out to you for that. You hoping that Apple sells off and then bounces? Yeah, because when I first started pushing black box stocks, it was 90, and then it went up. Do I ever follow Ricky Gutierrez? Nah, man. Ricky Gutierrez, he's another guy, that one of the things that I like to ask about guys is who you, right? Who are you? You know what I mean? Where do you come out of? And Ricky is one of those. Again, seems like a very nice guy, but I like guys who are like relatable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never going to watch Ricky Gutierrez's content because I know that he comes from a very wealthy family, and that helped him get where he is in terms of his YouTube popularity, his trading. When he takes losses, he can just go to mom and dad for money. That can help you leverage. That kind of leverage can help you grow, right? Well, that's good for you, but you can't be the one to teach me. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the one to turn around and say you can teach me something because you started off in a better position than I did. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not true. It's not true. And I'm not going to break down his family. I'm not going to break down his family here, but, there are guys out there who have post on it. Who have post on it. But my maturation in this game is very clear. You can look at my old shit to my new shit, and you can see there's something happening here. I hope that's what you see. I definitely feel that way, and I can look at my account and see there's something going here. So that 20 years from now, it's not like, oh, who's this guy who can really trade? Nah, I'm certified, dude. I've been out here. My parents don't know anything about the stock market, never bought a stock in their damn life outside of their retirement accounts, and before I started putting it in their face. I've never gotten $1 from my parents on how to trade. I learned it all in the gutter, coming on YouTube, promoting penny stocks, trying to get a check. Eventually got a little bit of money saved and decided to go legit, with it. Verb, what the deal with? I don't know what's going on with Verb, man. I don't really know what's going on with Verb. The guy came on my show and said that going public was going to be the best thing that ever happened to them. And they went public and they were good for a while. And then somebody big sold. Basically, somebody big was like, fuck it. I've been in it since God knows when, and I'm taking all my profits and I'm running. Buying and selling cars, Patrick. But here's the thing, Pat. I don't think he did it himself. It's him and his family did it selling cars, bro. It's not him. It's him. It's his family, bro. It's his family. But again, more power to him, man. More power to him. A lot of people, man, they don't want to be honest about their upbringing because, they realize, they realize that you will realize that, hey, man, you got a lot of fucking help to get to where you are. You got a lot of fucking help to get to where you are. And for a lot of people, that's hard to admit. That's hard to admit, because if I have to admit to you that I got a lot of help, and that I didn't go through as much pain to learn my skills, then I can't ask you for $199 a month. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I mean, look, if you're getting good content from the guy, shout out to him. But my thing is, man, I will never be somebody whose dick you have to suck. And I feel like a lot of those, you have to suck their dick to be on their platform. You have to suck their dick to be on their platform. Driving during texting, talk. Yeah. You gotta really, let them flood your mouth, bro. You don't have to let them flood your mouth. If you want to be in that, because you got to understand, in all their rooms, there are little cliques in there, right? I mean, little cliques of guys who are like been paying them like $140 for like 3 years. So they're in the little clique, and you got to kind of kiss his ass to be in that clique. Donald Trump admitted that his dad only gave him a small amount of $1 million. Well, I mean, shout out to Donald, man. Yeah, but it's not only just the money, but it's also the time. Donald Trump was at the right place at the right time, the right city. Right? So, I mean, yeah, he got a leg up and stuff like that with having a wealthy father, and also having knowledge, right? Having a parent who can give you knowledge. A lot of people don't realize how having a parent who is intelligent, who can offer you knowledge, can position you to not go through certain things that other people go through. Having a parent who like for example, Warren Buffett, whose father owned a stock brokerage, who was a congressman in Washington. Those kind of contacts that can then position you to have so-so grades, but then get into Columbia, right? To be able to be taught by, at the time, the world's greatest macroeconomic, scientists of the world. And then, your life, it gets 100x. Also the right time when he was born. And so it's you gotta, when you're looking at a guy, man, make sure you spread it, pull back a little bit and look at the whole picture. Yeah, look, $1 million is a lot of money for 1973 New York City, bro. It's a lot of money now, but it's a lot of money in 1973 New York City. When did he hit? I read his book. I read Trump's book. I think it was 1973. He said he went on his own or something like that. $1 million is a lot of money now, but it was definitely a lot of money then. So you can push your weight around a little bit with that. Get into some areas, that other people can't with that kind of money. The art of the deal. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, $79. $79. Thank you. $79. I wish I jumped on Black Box earlier. I hadn't even heard of them. I wish I jumped on Black Box earlier. Real talk, man. Because that's been an account changer for real. For real. What's going on, Rel? You paper traded with a paper trading account and did really well. Yeah, man, I used to really push that paper trading thing. Paper trading works really good if you have your strategy that you're trying to back test. But if you're just kind of trading, just winging it, you're just not going to get the same. It's not real money, man. It's not going to feel the same. But if you're trying to back test a strategy and you stick to trading it as realistically as possible, it's actually a good way to be able to say if what you're doing makes sense. But a lot of guys use paper trading just to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this. Oh yeah, I'll take this $47,000 trade right here. We'll short this. Oh shit, I lost 18,000 in the trade. Okay, short it. I'll try again. Yeah, that's Yeah. Londale Carter, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 25, and I'm using the 2550 on that. It's a 5 minute. I gotta make a video on that, by the way, too. I gotta make a video on that. On how to use the black box alerts for options. But I use the 5 minute chart intraday with the 25 moving average strategy. He said he had some black box last night. Hilarious. All right, driving up, talking, texting, this motherfucker's putting up in there. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If you go to those guys, they're really not putting up anything. The RSI strategy works intraday. You can, but it's too many signals. It's way too many signals. Remember, intraday has a lot of false signals. So, look, you got guys who use 1 minute. I just can't do it, man, because it's nerve wracking for me. But 5 is probably as soon. I mean, 10 sometimes even good too. 15 is all right, but 15 gets you in kind of late a lot of times. Here's Google trying to pick itself up. Look at that. Google trying to pick itself up. But yeah, 5 minute is probably as close as I can do it. What's going on, Chris Style? 1 million in 1973 is 59 million in today's money. Are you serious, Brandon T? Yeah, I mean, $59 million in 1970s New York, when properties that are going for like $4,000 a month now, back then were going for like a couple $100 a month. I saw some ads in Brooklyn from back in the day. In the early 80s, early 90s, they were like, $230 a month for apartments and shit like that. These used to be ghettos for real, man. Ghettos, man. Shout out to the Jewish community, man. They held on, and a lot of those people never sold. They just passed on the property generation after generation after generation. And they make a majority of the property owners within the 3 boroughs. What do you think about algorithms? I love them. I promote black box stocks. I think algorithms are very intelligent. They're very intelligent than you and I, and they're able to identify things that are going on in the market that you need to pay attention to because you can't click scan every 2 seconds to see what's going on. So you need a black box like a black box stocks to be able to, to bring you that ticker that's making that incredible move. And if you got the capital, the risk, then, good for you. $56 million. Wow. Hold on. Is that 56? 3? Yeah. Oh, 5.6. Okay. 5.6 million. I'm about to say, God damn. 5.6 million. So, yeah, but that's still a lot of money, though, man. That's still a lot of money for where he was initially building at. Because if you read the book, he wasn't building in the nicest neighborhoods at the beginning. So yeah, that did offer him a lot of leverage at the time. Shout out to Donald Trump, man. I mean, 7 bankruptcies or whatever it is. The guy knows how to use the laws And laws in America are made for business people and entrepreneurs. They really are made for entrepreneurs to be successful and give them the tools necessary to win. The fact that you can go in this country and run up millions of dollars in debt and then just go to the court and be like, yeah, I ain't got no money to pay none of y'all motherfuckers. And then start over tomorrow. New, fresh slate. You might, capital might be limited, but eventually, the system is set up to where, hey, if I'm a bank, shit, I got to make loans. So, I see you filed for bankruptcy a year ago, but shit, man, you've been doing pretty good since then. So, here's 25,000. Here's 50,000. Or if you're on his level, here's 120 million. Here's 220 million. You were paying $2,200 a month for a 2-bedroom, and now you live in Arizona and pay $650 for the same apartment in a nicer area. Yeah, shout out to Arizona, man. They're really liberal on their building codes, and that's why a lot of people from California are moving out there. That's why a lot of people from California are moving out to Vegas. Because these conservative states, they understand how to get business flowing, how to get capital moving. And a lot of these liberal states, if it wasn't for the fact that they're in these historically significant cities, most liberal cities would look like what's that town the Jacksons came from? What's that? It's a shithole, man. Where did Michael Jackson come from here? What's that city? Michael Jackson birthplace. It's like Gary, Indiana. There we go. Gary, Indiana. There we go. There. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it looked like Gary, Indiana, man. That's a liberal. That's a liberal bastion. You got to go way back for them to find a Republican mayor over there. Yeah, you look at any of those liberal, cities that are quote unquote billionaire cities. It's just the fact that those cities are historically significant. But if it wasn't for that, man, they'd be slums of depression and poverty and crime. They don't really know how to move capital, man. They don't know how to create the environment to move capital like that. You said Detroit. Yeah, well, Detroit is more or less, because of technology. They just got, trade wars and technology is what really had Detroit fail. And lack of competitive environment. Detroit did not have a competitive environment outside of the big three. They didn't create an environment where other companies could also thrive and other industries could also thrive. They went all in on the car thing and they paid for it. Now they're trying to rebirth. Detroit's trying to rebirth now as a tech hub, right? Because in Detroit you got all of the, great things that make like Philly and New York awesome, like the kind of that really nice downtown, hardcore brick, wide streets, and then you have none of the traffic. But the problem with Detroit and why Detroit can't get off the ground is that you're surrounded by, the city is surrounded by 500,000 working class, poor black people, 70% who own their home and, don't really have anywhere else to go, don't really want to sell it. And that's for people who are interested in gentrification, that's not a good thing. You know, they need to be able to kick you out, be able to build a stadium in a neighborhood and be able to kick you out. But if you own the home, I can't kick you out. If you're not a renter, I got to pay you out money. And now that you know that I want your property, you're asking, you know. So the people of Detroit are very, very intelligent, man. They up on their game over there. You know, you got a house that's been in grandma's name, and here you come at my door asking me that you want to buy my property. Okay, yeah, if grandma bought it for $12,500, guess what? I need $225 for it. I need $225 for it. You're only 2 miles away from downtown. You got highway exits east and west. I need $225. So what's up? Yeah. So that's what's going on in Detroit right now. And that's why gentrification really hasn't gotten off the ground there like people want it to. Because you got a lot of people who are going to be enriched with that kind of wealth that's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous. You know, people ain't trying to put capital in their hands like that. Somebody was asking me what I think about Sean Dekmar. Yeah, Dekmar was on my show, man. Sean Dekmar was on my show. And he started being a little funny style with me. You know, he's a little too goofy for me, man. I mean, cool dude, but he's a little too goofy for me. He's got a weird, overly, you know, when you know somebody who's like overly energetic, but in like a fake kind of way. And I don't know if he's faking. He just comes off like overly energetic, like yo, are you okay? Like you on Red Bull, like right now? Yeah, so if you listen to the interview, it's weirdness on weirdness on weirdness. You know? 1 minute cancels and opens for 10-minute markers, then use 5 minutes for. Okay. You said like them Jake Paul dudes. Appreciate you, Ricardo, man. Thanks for stopping in, man. Yeah, let me get up out of here. Y'all gonna try to turn me. Y'all always try to do this to me, man. Turn me into a 7-hour stream because y'all know I could do it. You know, y'all know I could do it. That's what gets you YouTube likes, though. Yeah, but man, that's not being yourself, man. I'm always gonna be myself. That's probably why I think if I've told people, you know, before on the show, look, if I started wearing a Trump hat, you know, make America great again, and I started spewing all kind of hardcore right-leaning bullshit, along with my you know, stock knowledge, yeah, there'd be, you know, 600 people in here right now. But 90% of the people in here right now wouldn't fuck with me. So that means I'd have a whole bunch of new people who are like, yeah, I love that talk, nigger. Keep it going. Yeah, that's what I want to hear, nigger. Keep it going. That's what we want to hear. Yeah, hey, you're a good brother, man. You know, they're, you know, your people, you know, sometimes I don't know, but you, man, you're different. You know what I'm saying? You think differently. And that's why I watch you, because the things that you say, man, America, you know, they need to hear what you got to say, brother. They need to hear what you got to say. And that's why I'm a loyal listener of you. Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have the kind of energy to do that shit. You know, I ain't got the kind of energy to do that shit. He said you and Tommy Sotomayor, that dude's been, whew. I don't know. At this point, I just feel sorry for that old man, because that dude, that's another dude who's like, can't figure it out, man, because he's another dude when it, you know, comes to women, he can't seem to figure it out. He's brought all kinds of women on his platform, and he just seems just really unstable mentally a little bit when I watch him. He's a flip-flopper too, because I don't honestly think that Tommy Sotomayor believes in a lot of things that he's saying. I don't even think he believes in it. I think he's at this point, he's reserved. He's accepted the fact that he's just going to coon until he dies to get money. Yeah, he's got some issues. He's got some issues with his mother. He's got some issues with women in general. Yeah, that guy needs some help. He needs some help, and then it doesn't help that he's got a fan base that continues to push him on and reward his foolishness. Even though to me it's kind of old, but he said Tommy is awesome. Yeah, I don't hate him as a person. I don't hate him as a person, but the guy's got some really he's got some things going on with him, man. I don't think he's a bad person, but I think he's got issues. He's got issues that need to be addressed, like his issues with women. He's got issues with women. Yeah, he's eccentric, man. He's got issues with women. Some of you guys who watched that show, remember that car accident he went in a couple of years ago? Man, that was crazy, man. I thought he was going to hit that woman, he's got issues with women and for a guy who makes pretty good money doing what he's doing, he's making money, and he has been making pretty good money for quite a bit. Go get yourself a woman from Latin America or one of these mail-order Asian brides and settle it. Every day coming on talking about bitches, bitch this, bitch that, hold this, tramp, BT 1000. I mean, damn, dude. That energy is just like, I can't, that's good for a little bit, but I just can't deal with that kind of energy, man. I just, because I when it comes to women, for me, I have a very, I have a very like I control the flow kind of thing. I don't feel like women. I don't know how to explain it, man, but I just don't give women that kind of power over me to make me feel like that. And that's what I talk about when he's got some motherly issues. He's got some mother issues that he hasn't dealt with. He said, "Good country hick impersonation." Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man. So, man, we pulled up damn near 100 tickers today. I know you guys are all going to do your thing, man. Gold is doing that. I mean, if you you're going to see the call, if we get the bounce over the 2 days, you're going to see gold kind of cool down a little bit. You're going to see gold cool down. All these gold tickers, silver tickers are going to cool down a little bit. The commodity space, man, is just so fickle. I don't know. I mean, good runs, but God, it's so fickle sometimes. So, I'm going to be sticking with my inverse ETFs, and these are going to be great opportunities to load more, particularly not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, whether that is the confirmation of a return, not a return, but just a low RSI pullback, or low RSI bounce. It's going to be an opportunity for us to get back in on the short side or long side when we're talking about inverses when we get a rejection. And I can show you guys that right now. So if we look at, for example, TQQQ. All right, so we're just looking for a rejection here either at the 50 or at the 60 RSI. Or it could be sometimes coming in a little earlier. Sometimes it could come in earlier. All right. But as you see here, yeah, there he goes. It can come in a little earlier, right? It could be 42. Here's a 42 RSI rejection. All right, but the bounce comes. The bounce comes. The bounce comes, and as you can see here, that's a great opportunity to either buy puts or get into the inverse trade and play that the other way down. So it's going to be interesting to look forward to. Yeah. All right. Last ticker. Here's somebody's filling up Dollar Tree. Yeah, here's Dollar Tree. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more. It's interesting because Dollar Tree, Dollar Tree is interesting because, Dollar Tree, you got to understand that their margins are very, very thin, right? Dollar Tree makes money on volume. The worst thing that can happen to Dollar Tree is when you go in there and all you want to do is buy, a can of peanuts or something like that. They don't make no money when you do that. Dollar Tree, and man, it's been almost a year since I pulled up the earnings thing, but they said it's $22 average purchase. So you're going in there and spending $22, mostly old women and people just looking to save on frivolous things. And, this China situation kind of, can eat into those margins that are already relatively thin to begin with, right? Most of the stuff you get in Dollar Tree are bought either wholesale or discount, through discount wholesaling. They tend to have products that are, been sitting on shelves for months. If they do have brand name items, they tend to come in very much smaller containers, right? That make that, that gives that product creator the ability to build some kind of market value for their brand through that distribution channel. For example, Armor All, right? The Armor All that you use to clean your car. You go to AutoZone and you can buy a bottle of Armor All for $7, $8, $9. But you go into the dollar store and you can get a small 8-ounce bottle. You go to Dollar Tree, get an 8-ounce bottle for $1. That's an opportunity that Armor All has to now, hopefully create a new customer out of you who's going to go turn around and buy, eventually, they hope, buy the more expensive, bigger bottle. Yeah. Yeah, just because you're new, man. But energy stocks have been getting beat up. And we didn't even really talk about crude at all. But energy stocks have been getting beat up. As I said, 80% of energy stocks are below the 50 moving average right now. They've all been pretty much getting beat up. And somebody on CNBC brought up a really good idea or a really good thesis, and that's that today's new fund manager isn't he's not invested in energy like people were 20, 30 years ago. Energy is just not as big of people's portfolio like it was a long time ago. It's just not that big anymore. As money has really transitioned away from these kind of like legacy, low PE kind of stocks into more high risk, tech plays for the most part. Tech plays. Here's Exxon though. Look at Exxon with the lights trying to get the bounce today. That's the kind of bounce you guys are looking for tomorrow. That's a nice bounce here. Wow, that's a nice one. That's a nice bounce. Imagine coming in the day before, get a move like this. Make a couple, 100 to 1,000 to a couple $1,000 on a move like that. That's not bad. What was the low here? Yeah, that's not bad on an entry. All right. So yeah, guys, let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of here so you guys can get some sleep. All right. Get up out of here so you guys can get some sleep. I appreciate it. Shout out to all the people who are in the chat room today. 3 hours. Damn, that's a long ass stream. Appreciate you, bro. You've been here since the beginning. Shout out to you. We talk to Stock Talk all the time. I think you've been around here before. Well, if you're new, please click subscribe. If this is your first time watching, always love to hear feedback. I had the call-in line. Nobody hit up the call-in line, man. I mean, shit. God damn, had me use my throat the whole damn day. Shout out to Demetrius Jackson, Legendary 8s. D Barbarian, appreciate you. Mactownization, shout out to you, bro. 3 hooks, Ghetto Stock Trader, appreciate you. Who else was in here, man? Londell Carter, of course. Bad Scientist, man, appreciate you, bro. Howard Cooper, Ray J, Legendary 8. Shout out to all the people who, all my day ones, you know who you are, man. Cristal, Rel, Ricardo Joseph. Who else was in here, man? Kenny Dutton. Of course, Demetrius Jackson, Brandon T, Anton Smith, Monk Luigi. Appreciate it, man. I know you guys missed this good stock talk. I know the other guys are whack and boring the shit out of you guys. I'll be back Wednesday, man, because I really want to get back into the vibe of this. You know? Yeah. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. Until next time, folks, trade well. I'm out. Peace. Yes, later, Bad Scientist, Londell Carter, Patrick Lindsay, Stock Alert Z, 3 hooks. Yes, sir. Till next time, I'm out.